Hey everyone, Luke here, and I brought a battle report with me. My buddy came over, played Ogres. I played the new Vampires, who I am in love with, and we rolled up 2,500 point armies, and we got dot attack scenario. Interestingly enough, we actually had another battle between this and the last battle report I put up, but I got spanked so hard that we didn't even make it till turn 2 before everything just crumbled. So I made a few adjustments, and there's not much to show in a battle report that's that short. So we'll go into this one. Dawn attack scenario. I'm on the right. He's on the left. You can pretty much tell that he's had to deploy in his left flank like nearly completely. Everything's up there. And my army's kind of spread out, so it's a big problem. I should jump back. For terrain here, really all you got to know is that on the top, that new manor up there is a wizard's tower. We're using as that. And then everything else is just either buildings, hills, or don't come into effect. Going down his side, this is his right flank. He has a saber tusk. He's using that chariot as a proxied iron blaster. Another saber tusk and a thunder tusk. And then in this big pile here, he's got a group of on the left side, a group of iron guts. He has a level 4 slaughtermaster in there with the Lord of Heavens. Behind them are 8 man eaters, which I believe have swift stride and poison. And the second rank has great weapons. Next to them are just a group of I think 8 or 9 ogres. In there's a level 1 butcher. Behind them is a second iron blaster, and in front of them is a third saber tusk, I think. So going down my right flank, I've got my BSB, my White King BSB in a group of 19 Graveguard. Pretty far away. I'm in the complete opposite flank from my general here. So this is going to be a problem. I've got 5 direwolves. Then I'm using these Lord of the Rings models as spirit hosts. So I've got 2 bases of spirit hosts, and between them, I've got crypt horrors. I'm going to give them a try, and they look pretty great. But I do need to complain here for a minute. As a guy who plays ogres, I own this ogre army I'm fighting. I have a general sense for what most monstrous infantry are supposed to cost, and when I went to buy these guys, it ended up being like $50 for 3 guys. Now I know it's a kit that can make 2. The Vargeist or the Crypt Horrors, but come on, to get 6 I had to pay almost $100. It's getting out of control. I probably shouldn't have paid for them. I probably should have just used ogres, but they looked pretty cool. So I just had to complain for a second. I've actually got 7 there. There's an ogre who's in the 3rd rank back there. This is an awful picture, but yeah, here's a better angle. Next to the Crypt Horrors and the Spirit Host are 30 Crypt Ghouls with a Cairn Wraith in there, the hero. Next to them is a bunker of 20 zombies with a level 4 Master Necromancer. And then on the other side of the building here, I've got 33 skeletons with hand weapon and shield, and leading them is the general, the Strigoi Ghoul King. He should be pretty badass if he ever makes it to combat. He's pretty far away. Behind them is a corpse cart, which is never going to make it to combat because it can't march, being a chariot, and it has a movement of 4. But it's trying. It's actually facing down the line anyway. And next to them is the newly painted Mortis engine I'm so proud of. So that thing's awesome. Hopefully I can get that down the line here. As you can see, my support stuff is very far away from all my fighty stuff. So we'll see what happens. Ogre's turn 1, no charges. On this flank, he's got the dogs moving up. He's got his Iron Blaster looking at me. Thunder Tusk moves up, and everyone kind of just moves up here. That's pretty much about it. During magic, he shoots a Thunderbolt at a Spirit Host and does 2 hits, but I think he rolls 1s or something, 2 1s. It was a good omen to start the game, but it didn't end up working that way for me. During shooting, his Iron Blaster shoots at the Mortis engine and rolls a 1 to wound. And then the second Iron Blaster and the Stone Thrower on the back of the Thunder Tusk take off 10 ghouls so far. So now going to Vamps 1, I charge that saber tusk there in front with my direwolves. I want to block that up as best I can and buy some time while the other guys are coming down the line. So that's just what the other guys do. They kind of move out. You can see I moved the skeletons and the general into the building. I think I've got a better shot instead of wheeling around it. I think it's faster for me to cheese it up and go in now and then come out on my turn with my butt against those support pillars. So I'm gonna cheese it up a bit. Otherwise, I move my Cairn Wraith out, and he's just kind of gonna see what he can do with those dogs. Maybe be another blocker. Doesn't have a lot of ethereal answers down on that end. And then I've got my two chariots working their way down slowly down the line. During my magic, I have the curse book, and I get off Doom and Darkness, but it gets dispelled, and then I fail to cast Van Hells. At this point, my sweet puppy dog comes to see us, and he's a normal size dog. Actually, he's a Great Dane. He weighs like 170 pounds, but so he likes to come and stick his nose on the table and smell us, smell all the pieces as we're playing. But during close combat, the dogs versus dogs fight ties. So this is on Ogre turn 2. So you can see that the Iron Guts charged in into the Spirit Host there, right in the middle, and the Ogres joined a charge on those dogs, so that's probably not going to hold up very long. One of his Saber Tusks on the left there charges the Spirit Host, and then the other Saber Tusk, which is off the screen here, fails a long charge in the Mortis Engine. During Magic Phase, he used Gret's Sickle. He was able to get off Harmonic Convergence. I don't think I have a good picture. I mean, obviously just a spell going off, but he was able to get Harmonic Convergence off. And then he cast Irresistible Curse of the Midnight Wind, and then ended up doing 4 wounds to his unit. I don't think that's shown there either. Let's see. This is my reaction. My dog came back because I was howling, because during shooting, he shot my Mortis Engine and killed it in one shot. This happens all the damn time. I don't know what the percentage is. I think it's probably between 15 and 20, or maybe 15 to 30% that you can land a shot on the Mortis Engine, and if it's it's like you got to land the shot, which is pretty easy because it's big. Then you've got a 50-50. Well, no, you usually have to not roll a 1 and you wound it. Then it's 50-50 on the regen save, and of course, he had to roll a 5 or 6 to kill it, and he did. So, I mean, I think I could have made it there. I would have had Van Hells, but that's pretty bad right away because, you know, that's in the new vampires. I'm looking at that as the big support thing. So my dog comes to lay at my feet because I'm so distraught at this point. During close combat, I guess for the rest of the shooting, the other Iron Blaster kills 4 Graveguard. It's kind of working its way, chipping off that flank. The Stone Thrower puts a wound. It lands on the Saber Tusk that was out in the middle and the Spirit Host out there. And during close combat, the Slaughtermaster kills the Spirit Host and they overrun. I wonder where this is. What? Yeah, this is my turn. So this is all before this happened. But basically during close combat on Ogre's turn 2, the Slaughtermaster kills the Spirit Host and overruns. I win with my Spirit Hosts in the other combat with the dogs and kill it. And impact hits just killed the Saber Tusk and the Dire Wolves. That whole thing just went the way expected. So this is a picture on Vamps 2. The Crypt Horrors charged the front of the Iron Guts there. And I charged, actually this is probably a better picture here. The Crypt Horrors charge the front, and ignore that Ogre on the bottom. That's my 7th Crypt Horror. I get my Spirit Host in the flank, and I get the Graveguard in the other flank here. My Ghouls were going to join on the flank, but they failed their charge. So pretty much everyone else was there. I got to get in. I felt pretty good about that. Here's a picture of, I guess, just what it looks like, you know, after the failed charge with the Ghouls. During Magic, I cast Doom and Darkness again randomly from the book, and it lands on the Iron Gut. So they're at -3 leadership, so that's pretty good. He chooses to let that through, and I get I try to cast Area of Effect, you know, targeting all with Van Hells and start moving everyone up, and he uses his Dispel Scroll, which was pretty good because I was going to be able to really move those guys around in there. Then he just flat out dispelled Curse of Years, and I get Hellish Vigor off on the Crypt Horrors. In fact, I think this is what it looks like here. So in close combat, I have no shooting at this point. This is what it looks like going into close combat. There's debuffs everywhere, and there's buffs everywhere. And I win combat by 8, and they break. And he rolls 12 and gets away. And I was just distraught. I mean, not exactly distraught, but I was groaning. I had 3 units who all elected to chase him down, and he rolls a 12, and all the rest suck. But the Graveguard get into combat with the with the Ogres there, and I'm just moaning. I thought, oh, I had a chance to kill those Iron Guts. I hate them so much, and the level 4 was in there, and he's just with Gret Cycle, he's rocking me on Magic, so I'm groaning, and I get a look from my dog, who gives me a little like, one of those breaths and one of those looks. You just know that he said that was your shot, it's over. So this is what the battlefield looks like at the end of my turn. You can see I'm still kind of lagging behind with a lot of my support stuff in my Keeley Lord. Moving in, this is Ogre turn 3. The Thunder Tusk fails a charge on the Vampire and his Skeletons group. The Man-Eaters, however, charge into the front of the Graveguard. I know I'm going to lose that combat big time. That's a lot of CR that's going to suck. But got to do what I can. The General's unit freaking rallies, and he's got that -3 leadership on. I know it was a 7, and I know it was rerollable. He's got the standard that gives him I think it's the standard of discipline with the extra leadership in there. But it was a 7. He failed the first time, and he freaking just barely in range, and he makes his reroll. So that sucked, because that would have been nice if those guys went right off the board. In other movement, I mean, just you can see the Iron Blasters moving up there, and pretty much everything else is just shooting or getting into combat. During Magic, oh man, do I get hammered here on Magic. He gets Ice Shard Blizzard off on the Graveguard, Curse of Midnight Wind on the Crypt Horrors, so everyone's re-rolling everything. He gets Thunderbolt off on the Wraith, and kills him. I mean, this is before that happens there, but that's what it looks like. I get my Dispel Scroll finally out when he tries to cast like the AoE Harmonic Convergence. I mean, he's beaten me in dice. I think he had almost 12 or pretty close. So I use my Dispel Scroll to stop his guys from getting Harmonic Convergence, and then he finally uses remaining dice to dispel Doom and Darkness, and I think he got it with like 1 die or something like that. He took a gamble, but he got it. This is actually a picture from Vampires, Vampires 3, the next turn. But what happened in the remainder of his turn during shooting, his Iron Blasters got a flank shot and freaking just right out of his butt, he kills 3 Crypt Horrors. He just goes down the line. And the way it works with shooting Monstrous Infantry, you got to actually kill them. But they weren't making their regen saves, and he just killed them right down the line. The Stone Thrower killed 5 more ghouls, and the other Iron Blaster on the far flank kills 4 more ghouls. So they're getting whittled down pretty quick. And I'm not getting Invocation off. I'm trying to get everyone up there, and I mean, I'm trying to support the guys who are actually in combat. During close combat, as you can see here, the Graveguard died, but there was no overruns or anything like that. So this is Vampire turn 3. I charge my Crypt Horrors into the Ogres. I knew that. I think at this point I found out. I think what my opponent did is he forgot to tell me in the last combat that his attacks were actually flaming. So I was going to join in with the Spirit Host there, but with the flaming attacks, no, I needed, even though I can't roll a regen save to save my life here tonight, I need the chance. So I charged him into the Ogres, and the BSB's in there, so there's a couple juicy targets. Everyone else is just kind of moving up. I think this is just a picture of what the rest of the board looks like, everyone moving up. During Magic, I'm doing well. I got 12 dice, he's got 6 dice, and I start out by using the book. I get Doom and Darkness freaking again out of the Curse book. I do not want Doom and Darkness right now, but I throw it on the Man-Eaters anyway, -3 leadership. He just lets that through. He doesn't care. So part of my big lead's gone right away. I try to cast Curse of Years because I wanted to draw some of his dice out, and I try to put them on the Man-Eaters. Not really going to do that much, but I don't have a lot of spells that can actually reach that far, and I wanted to draw some of his dice out so that I could try to Van Hills first. And I get an Irresistible Force. I lose 3 dice from the power pool, I take a hit, lose some zombies, and I've got like 2 dice left after that, or maybe 3 dice, I forget what it was, but he's got the Dispel dice advantage, so he just dispels my Invocation to Heck. So my magic phase went pretty much to poop there. This is what it looks like just looking down. I think I had this picture just to show that what was going on. That I still had a couple of threats there that could either charge in or lock up my guy pretty quick, and that comes in pretty quick. During close combat, the Man-Eaters, in the combat with the Man-Eaters, I lose by 3, and so we just got some CR crumbling that goes there. And then I lose by 3 on the Crypt Horrors as well. But the Crypt Horrors are staying. They're actually very tough. I like them quite a bit, even when I'm not rolling my regen saves. Then this happens. This is in the middle of rolling for all the saves. We roll a die, and we go to pick them up, and this one is sitting there. This one had rolled it's like Madison Cube Garden in Futurama. It's not on an edge. It's on the tip, and we're sitting there looking at it, and we're just awestruck. I'm like, nobody move. I gotta get my camera out because this is freaking cool. I have never seen this ever. So I thought it was worth taking a picture of. This is the end of the combat. You can see 3 wounds went out to the spirit hosts, and I've got my champion of the crypt horrors in a challenge with their butcher, so it's kind of even. We're both kind of whiffing, we're both kind of hitting at different times, but it's actually buying me sometimes sticking around in fewer attacks on the unit there. So we go into Ogre's turn 4, and let me see. This is probably a picture of Ogre's turn 4. Yeah. This is. So Ogre's turn 4, he charges in the flank of the ghouls with this Thunder Tusk, and then gets a failed charge by the Iron Guts. He thought he could fit in there, and he actually made it on the distance, but when we looked at it, he wasn't going to be able to fit, so they just move up, I think, like 3. During Magic, it's 7-5, casting versus Dispel dice. He gets Curse of the Midnight Wind off on my Vampires group. I wonder if I have a picture of that. I guess this is just movement. This is just showing he moved his dog up as well. He didn't charge in, but he's kind of trying to block some stuff as best he can. So, I guess that's my turn. Yeah. So, he gets Curse of the Midnight Wind off my Vampires group. He gets, I think he dispelled Curse of Year. Yeah, that's what he did. He used 3 of his dice to dispel Curse of Year, so it didn't tick off for 5 up to start wounding. And then he got the... Oh, I was able to dispel Harmonic Convergence, the juiced up version again. During shooting, he's only really able to shoot at the skeletons now because they're like the only ones not in combat. Although he could have been shooting at the Generals group or at the Necromancers group. I might have done that if I were him, but I think about 10 more skeletons die from that. During close combat, the Man-Eaters kill and poof the Spirit Host. He's gone. I think they lose combat like by 3. I roll terrible for the Thunder Tusk combat. I mean, granted, I've only got like 4 attacks on him, but I mean, just nothing. And so that entire unit gets wiped out, and he overruns and lands right into my zombies with my caster, my level 4 caster in there. So this is on my turn, and I don't think I have good notes on this, but on my turn, I move in, I take my general, take him out of the skeleton group, and just kind of move him here that I can't charge, but, if we're sticking around, I might be ready here to charge next turn. And I kind of move the skeletons up a little bit as well to block the dog. The corpse cart charges in to the Thunder Tusk there as well, and I'm, I just got charged. He's got a flank charge on my zombies there, but I don't know. I got to try something. Over here, this is when, we lost combat with the Spirit Host with the Man-Eaters, so basically there is one lone champion locked in a challenge with that Butcher holding up this entire side, so it's really coming apart here for Team Vampire. During the Magic phase, I roll Snake Eyes for the dice. I don't really know what can help me here, because it's pretty much over. We all know we're just playing it out, but I roll Snake Eyes, and he channels, and it's like, you got to be freaking kidding me. I get Irresistible Force, though, with my 2 dice trying to cast Invocation of the Heck, and get that off, and I blow up a bunch of my zombies because it's Calamitous Detonation, but my Necromancer doesn't die. He actually did this twice, so he's sitting on, I think it was in the phase before, or in the turn before, I think I forgot to mention it, but he's not dead. He's got 3 wounds, which is pretty nice, but the zombies are getting chipped down. And basically, I lose combat. I mean, he's got that Always Strike Last aura, but they're fighting zombies, so it doesn't really matter. And we pretty much call the game there. It was a pretty tough game. In terms of rolling, I had some trouble with placement right on, and I think I might have been a little too aggressive by going out to meet him. I mean, I sent my blockers out there to meet him, but honestly, I really just, unless I'm reforming and just full moving 4 inches, I really couldn't side move or anything to get toward my general, and I couldn't get Van Hils off to get me down there either. He was even popping out Dispel Scrolls to stop Van Hils, so that was pretty cool. It was a good game, but it was really painful. In combat, everything I rolled was awful. I made very few of my regen saves. I made very few attacks. I mean, it was one of those games where we were just groaning the whole freaking time about my saves, and I mean, I was definitely outmatched here in terms of deployment, but I mean, I just kept crumbling at everything. So this is about the third game with the vampires, and I was sharing my frustration with my buddy. I don't think there's something wrong here. I think it's just in the beginning my deployment, and this one some bad luck. But anyway, I think they're fun. I think I'm relying on that Mortis engine too much for support, and I think I'm really having a lot of trouble lately because I'm a magic reliant army. I'm relying on magic to get the edge and movement as much as I can, and to keep my guys going and grow them up beyond their starting size. And just rolling 2d6 for magic is a pain in the ass. It just too often I don't have the domination I feel I need in that phase to kind of power the army as I'm supposed to. So I'm struggling with that, and especially because here I'm playing my buddy who plays the Ogres. He takes 2 of those Iron Blasters, who are just kicking the pants out of whatever large target I bring. In the past it was a Terrorgeist, now it's the Mortis engine. I think we're going to do a little rule internally here. We talked that having 2 Iron Blasters is a little cheap. It's got perfect range, it can move, it never misfires. It's just too good. Move and shoot, way too good with it. So we might take it anymore. And then also Gret's Sickle. I mean, that's a really powerful weapon. In my mind, Ogre shouldn't have very strong magic, but yeah, he really doesn't care doing 1 wound on his unit there every time, and a negligible chance to lose his Slaughtermaster. So he takes Gret's Sickle left and right, and that makes it really hard to dispel. I might try the Parry Up next time to try to store some of the dispel dice for my next power phase, but we'll see what happens. So that's it. A painful loss for the vampires, but I think it was a good show for my dog, and hope you guys liked it.